Okay, we are recording now.
Cool.
So if you want to mute yourself, go ahead, just so there's no background noise. And if you have any questions or comments, I think it's a small enough group, you could just unmute maybe.
Yeah. You're muted now, Denise.
I was just saying, I'll turn it over to you now, Marion. Go ahead.
Cool. Thank you. Thanks, everybody. Truly just an honor to be able to share our story, as I know each of you have been so forthcoming and willing to share what's working in your offices. So I think, if this last year has shown us anything, it's just that by working together and showing what we're doing individually can help each one of us. Just like Minot was sharing about insurance, I didn't know, or airnets, and we all need the information that we fall into with what's happened over the last year. So what I'm sharing is just what we learned how to do. And I know we've heard it, right? For 30 years, you need to specialize. That's where the money is. And we just, because our lease was coming up 7 years ago, and there was a space right next door to us that was available. And we were in a position that I knew I needed to do something. So we took over the space next door and completely renovated, up leveled, just made it into a much more luxurious location that when people came in, they felt like, this is a place where they were trusting that it was comfortable to spend their money. So it wasn't easy. I mean, again, like every one of you on this call, you've been in this business so long, you've been through the recall of when the commissions were cut back. We used to get 13% on business class tickets. And when we opened up in 1988, it really was lucrative. We had a number of factories in our area, so selling to those business travelers their first class tickets, and they were going every single week. It was a good business, and it actually, for us, it turned into a luxury market, because those factories, they knew their salesmen were dealing with us, and then the secretaries, and then the employees. So it became a really good business until into the 90s, when the internet came into existence, and really the secretaries could do the job we were doing. So we were losing out on all the business we were getting on selling airline tickets. Plus, with the commission caps, we weren't making any money on that. So the whole game of, there were 7 agencies in our little town, and everybody was selling off and giving away their commissions. And clients would come in and ask for a 6% discount because our next door agent was given 5% discount. And, it was just that it was a really deflating time when we had to give away our profits. But it seemed like the only way to do business. And I think at that time, we didn't even clue into what we were making money on. We just took what was coming in the door, like every one of you, right? You sold Las Vegas. We live in southwestern Ontario. So if somebody wanted to buy an airline ticket, we would have to research flying out of Detroit, flying out of London, flying out of Hamilton, flying out of Toronto, flying out of Buffalo. And I mean, you all did it as well, but an airline ticket, the price would change, and they'd have you research it all over again. And it was just so incredibly deflating. And all of my girls were deflated as well. So we knew that we had to do something, and I was on this personal development surge of just wanting to know how to improve myself and how to improve my business. And I hired a coach who was specific to the travel industry. And she was saying, really, the riches are in the niches. If to specialize and to get into the luxury market is the way you can make money. So we moved our office, we up leveled. My girls were not at all on board to begin with. They were busy, and they couldn't see working by appointment. They couldn't see, firing clients. I mean, that was unheard of. They don't work only on commission, but they're just so sincere to the clients and sincere to me that they didn't think it would work. So we moved over, and at that point in time, I said, we are not, we're giving up the blame game, because I mean, that was a big part that was pulling us down. We'd hang up the phone with the client and, we badmouth what they were asking for. We'd hang up the phone with a tour supplier where we badmouth them. It was everybody else's fault, right? So I said, once we moved over to this new space, we were giving up the blame. We were not ever badmouthing a client, heaven forbid, let alone a supplier or an airline. It was, the onus is on us. It's no more blaming. I told them I was only going to work by appointment, and we're in a plaza outside of a mall, so again, nobody could see how that was going to work. But you teach your clients how to treat you. Honestly, if you tell them you're booking sell-offs, that's what they're going to be asking for. If you're marketing, the low ball 3-night cruises or, little junkets to Las Vegas, that's what they're going to come to you for. So by telling them we were only going to work by appointment, that really set boundaries around our time. And it also just gave them a sense of the value of our time, that they weren't just stopping in anymore just to talk about how their day was going, or the the problem they had on their last 12 trips, or that type of thing. They were getting down to the nitty-gritty. So what I've designed a program for travel professionals. It's called S.O.A.R. And again, I just want to say I am exactly you. We are all, we know we need to move into luxury. We know we need it to move into groups. Fortunately, we did that 7 years ago. And, since that time, we've doubled the size of the new office that we moved into. We knocked out the wall and have made more space. And in that space, it's custom to the clients. It looks modern. Each of my associates have doors on their offices, so it's a private, atmosphere. We can offer the client a cappuccino. My one specialist who does only weddings, I mean, if you could see what she does for couples when they come in, they've got, a cold towel, they've got, and it's like lavender mint, they've got chocolate covered strawberries, they've got glasses of champagne, or depending on when they come in, if they're coming in for a morning appointment, they've got, usually either a cappuccino, or she'll offer an amaretto coffee, or like, it's just those little extra touches that when they come in and sit down, they know that this is a place they can spend their money and feel like they're going to be looked after. So in any case, I've called the program S.O.A.R. just because I feel like the 4 components are, the S in S.O.A.R. is specialize, the O is over deliver, the A is administration, and I'll get into hiring an assistant or administration to take the things off your plate that you're doing that you don't need to be doing. You probably personally enjoy selling or managing it, and if you've got an assistant that can do the back end and make you look good, that's what I feel is a big piece of the puzzle. And then the R in S.O.A.R. is Raving Fans, and I tell you, once you start specializing, your Raving Fans are gonna be coming through the walls. And I mean, I don't want to say this like we don't have problems. Let me tell you, we have as many problems as anybody else. And certainly now with our groups, we're finding far more problems, especially even in this refund in the last 24 hours, giving back refunds to people that we'd already initiated insurance claims, or that we were keeping that as the attrition. So it's created a huge mess for us. And my group people, my heart has gone out to them, over this last 13 months, because they've been in such a mess, moving people. But we've all learned in this last year that if we don't start charging money up front and processing and telling people this is our professional fee, It's non-refundable, whether you decide to not book, whether you decide to change or cancel. That's our fee up front. We're getting paid now. And again, we've learned these lessons just in the last 13 months, but we're getting paid up front now for our service, whether you book or not. And we're not waiting on commissions to come to us, because in my opinion, things are going to move to nets pretty quickly. And we want to be in a position that it doesn't matter, that we don't have competition necessarily, that we built up this reputation that we do have a value over and above what the cost of your trip is. So the Specialize, again, we know specialists all make more money. Your general practitioner makes less money than a surgeon, and it's proven in so many fields. But I think in the travel industry this year alone, we've commanded more respect than we've ever had. And I feel like we can build on that if we portray ourselves as specialists, as experts in what we're doing. So what we've done is just created avatars. We have names for our specific avatars. I personally just sell luxury. One of my girls just sells river cruises. One just sells adventure. Two just sell destination wedding groups. So we've got the person that we think our avatar is, whether it's the bride and groom or whether it's the luxury couple that are, a retired age. We've sort of designed who they are, where they shop, how they dress, what they value. And that way we can market to them. So we can have our elevator speech. So if we're at a Chamber of Commerce meeting, or even just any social event, and somebody asks what you do, we can very succinctly tell them who we help and how we do that, as opposed to just saying I'm a travel agent. And we never use the word agent ever. We're travel professionals, or we're travel entrepreneurs, and we put ourselves in that space. Now, I say we never say travel agent. I'm hiring right now, and in Indeed or in my ads, I'm saying travel agent because that's where people look. So sometimes we do use travel agent just as our hashtag because that's what people are Googling. But in our verbiage, we call ourselves travel professionals. So again, just focusing on luxury and groups, I believe, is where the money is. And charging your worth. If you've been able to have testimonials and prove your worth in crafting beautiful holidays for people, use it in your advertising, use it on your webpage, or use it in your newsletters, so that people understand when they come in that there is a fee for just having a discussion with you, whether you're booking or not. We, depending on what people are looking for, but lots of times people have got their Aeroplan points and they'd like to do a European adventure. So we know we're not going to make a lot of money on their air. We're certainly going to charge them a fee for it, but we're going to, based on past experience with the customer, what kind of hand-holding they're going to need. We have a variety of different fees. And again, because each specialist does something different, they each charge a different fee, which I'm completely fine with. They are employees of Elgin Travel, but they set their own value. And we sell ITCs as well, but I've also given them just the capability to charge whatever they deem proper for that particular client or that particular group. The O in S.O.A.R stands for over deliver, and that I feel is a big part of suggesting that you're a specialist or an expert in the travel industry. You want to play the part, you want to dress the part, you want to have an environment that shows that as well. You want your advertising to be beautiful, to also show that that you are marketing to a luxury client. suggest over delivering the drip campaign. So if the client's booking an African safari, they're often securing that or investigating that, a year in advance. So we have drip campaigns. We send out, the program we use is Mad Mimi, but I think, Constant Contact, or there's a lot of different programs you could use to send out emails just to follow up with clients, like a thank you for putting down your deposit. And then like a thank you box. Again, the bride and grooms, when they secure their wedding, they get a beautiful box with a number of different items in there, the diary for, prepare for the date. I forget all the things that they put in, but a client gets this delivered to them by courier to their home, with confetti inside and just, nice smelling box. The same with the river cruise people. So we've got a lot of things that we like to do for our clients to make them feel good, because that is what your clients want. They want to feel good. They want to feel like their holiday is more important than any other vacation that you're planning. They want to feel like they've done something unique that other people, that their neighbors never heard about. So these are the things to keep your clients coming back to you, is to really just pat them on the back and build up their ego, because that's what we find, certainly in the luxury market, that clients want. They want to know that they're having an experience that no one else has heard of. So they've got the bragging rights. We do up a newsletter that we send out to all our clients just to keep them up to date on what's happening in our office, because people like to know you personally. That's all part of the know, like, and trust. So if there's something exciting going on in our office, whether it's a milestone celebration here or, flowers that clients have sent to us, we usually just share that sort of thing. And then, something else related to a travel experience. We send out VIP letters. So for clients who are on their honeymoon or, doing a special experience in Tahiti, we send in advance to the resort a letter saying, these are really high-end clients, if you could, have flowers in their room, or give them a bottle of champagne, or give them an upgrade. And often we copy our clients on those letters, just because, again, it's the whole ego thing. They're telling their neighbor, oh, guess what Elgin Travel did for us? And, look what happened. And, sometimes nothing happens. Sometimes clients get an upgrade no matter what. So it's nice to be able to take the credit, whether it was because of your letter or just that, it happened. I always tell my girls, because they used to always say, oh no, we didn't have anything to do with it. But now I encourage them to take the credit. If something good happens, make sure that they understand it's because they booked with our agency. We've got itineraries. I think lots of you use UMapped or Travify, but it can be really, again, a time saver for clients. Lots of clients are a lot more technologically advanced than I am, thank God. So, they hold in their handhelds the maps of where they're going, what the temperatures are. It links them to their flight reservation. It links them to their seat assignments, so they've got updates if there's a schedule change. They can build a photo album out of these apps. There's a lot of things that are becoming more advanced all the time. And if you can stay on top of those things for your clients, they really appreciate it. Or some do. Some, the elderly clients aren't into it at all, and there's other ways to keep them satisfied. But for the millennials and the techies, if the more things that you can do to upgrade them technology-wise, the better. And then, of course, the welcome homes and the thank yous and, asking for referrals, asking for testimonials. When you over deliver and they have had an amazing experience, it's great to be able to get thank yous from them, and to be able to share those with future clients. The A in S.O.A.R is assistance. And I got to say, if you only take one thing from this presentation, if you can hire someone to help you, You are all owners. You are all entrepreneurs that have been burnt out this last year. You've had to do everything in your office that, in my case, I wasn't selling. I was only working 3 days a week. I had gotten to a really amazing place. And now this last year, here I am doing it all. Thank God. My administrator, even though she has another full-time position, is still helping me with, even now getting on to sharing slides. She was helping me with the technical part of it this morning. So if you have an assistant, or if you haven't even ever considered an assistant, please consider it. There are things that you do that you're fabulous at, and that's why your business is so amazing. It probably is selling. If you could just spend all of your time selling, and you had somebody else who could market for you, who could read your mind and do your invoicing and, build these apps and know the technical side of it. Or, some of you are great at that. I'm not. And that's what my administrator does. She makes me look so good when all I've done is curated the package. She puts it together and makes it look beautiful. She, will issue the boarding passes for clients. She'll, do all the things behind the scenes, again, that make us look good. So to me, if you've got an office of, at least 3 staff, an administrator is a must-have. As I say, you don't have to be everything to everyone. You don't have to sell to everyone. You get to decide, but you don't have to do all the things. So set boundaries around your time, around your work schedule, what days of the week you want to work, and only work by appointment. As I say, clients get to understand that that's how we work, and they understand that now. When they come into our office, it is because they've already been qualified as a client that fits our niche, and that we know we're going to work with. So my agents can be prepared ahead of time with all of the information that they can look up the cruise options, or be prepared with the sales and the promotions or the upgrades when the client comes in. So what an administrator can do for you, if they are sitting at the front desk in a walk-in office, they can answer all the phones. So no longer are you interrupted in the middle of a sale, or are you interrupting clients that are sitting at your desk spending, $20,000, $50,000. You don't want to say, oh, I'm the only one here today, I have to get the phone. An administrator will answer the phones, will qualify your walk-ins to see if you are a good fit or they are a good fit. And if they're not, pass them on to, the CAA down the road, or depending on what you do. We've given up I've been selling airline tickets for the last 12 months, but prior to this, we did not sell air only. We did not sell anything domestic, which, might have hurt us in the last year, but it's fine. If I'm hearing that people are buying tickets to go to Vancouver and they haven't called me, it's a freedom for me now. It's not like a feeling of, oh my God, I didn't get that business. I don't have enough time to charge $100 issuing an airline ticket when, even if it's only Air Canada and WestJet that you're looking at, all the different fare levels, all the different things involved in, the refund fees, and the price for seat assignments, and the price for luggage, and the price for insurance. It's a business that we've given up quite comfortably and happily. It was a process, again, being able to tell the little old lady down the road that, we don't sell air only, and sending her over to the CAA. We certainly will do it. We'll let them know our fee up front if it is an elderly client that doesn't have a computer. But for the most part, that is not our market. And, people don't come to us for that, but they do come to us for the higher things. So if I can just, give you that confidence of giving away business is just freeing up your time to be able to take the business that is profitable and that lights you up. Because I mean, that's the whole plan, isn't it? That we love our businesses again, that we're not going home exhausted and deflated and feeling like we've been used by the suppliers and the airlines and the, you know, everybody's been in a grumpy mood in, you know, for the last year's time. I'm really looking forward to having clients excited to come back into the office, having my girls excited to come back into the office, and excited to get back at square one doing what they love doing. And they've each respectively been doing that from their homes, booking their, you know, their African safaris, booking their river cruises. So I haven't been selling a great deal over the last year, but they've got things lined up in groups and in their respective niches that I feel like when they come back, we'll be in a position to be, you know, close to receiving commissions. But in the meantime, they're all charging fees up front for counseling anyone. So it's an upfront fee that we're getting paid now, as opposed to waiting for a commission to come in down the road. And I will share, I was in the office this last week when my river cruise agent was here, and you know, just telling the clients the fee was $150 per person up front. That was her professional fee, over and above the cost of the cruise. And these clients did not blink, did not, you know, and they were saying, you know, and we've heard many times from clients, that's all you're charging, or you're, you know, you're certainly worth it. So I think if you were ever in a position to consider, you know, morphing into a luxury or a group market, this is the time. Now is when clients are ready to be spending money, to be upgrading what they have been previously purchasing, and to value the service that you're providing to them. Just the comfort and the safety of knowing that what you're offering to them, there's flexibility on, or that you're going to be available to them to walk them through the process, whether they're booking for 2022, 2023, just the comfort that you're in this for them, is, I think, what clients are asking for right now. The R in the S.O.A.R is Raving Fans. And again, it's not just clients that are our Raving Fans and, you know, sharing testimonials, referring us to their friends and their relatives and their neighbors. My groups girl, actually, I just see what she's booking right now. It's a Kilimanjaro group of missionaries, and they're all in the United States. And I can go back to tell you how that all started, but it was probably 20 years ago when the Americans were coming up here to go to Cuba, and we had a lot of mission groups. That just developed into more and more, and a lot of her business actually comes from the US now. So, you know, it's not just the fact that we are a local little small town agency, because I think, you know, a lot of people are going to say, well, that's great, you charge fees because, you know, whatever. We are in a town of, it's 40,000 people in St. Thomas, Ontario. There are two agencies here, ourselves and CAA. The economy has, as you know, not been good for many years with the ups and downs of the closures of the factories, but we feel now comfortably that we can charge fees up front and people are paying it. And the people who are not willing to pay it, it is empowering to say, we're not a good fit. You know, the CAA's down the road, or, you know, Google WestJet or Air Canada, and you can book your ticket online. It is such a great feeling to be able to give up the clients that don't value your time, value your expertise, and are prepared to pay you what you're worth. So again, the Raving Fans, our suppliers as well are Raving Fans, because, and I feel like this really just changed when we changed our frame of mind of treating them like the professionals. I feel like we used to really not value our suppliers and treat them kind of like a third party that, were never trained, they didn't know anything, and just begrudgingly speaking to our suppliers on the phone. Now, when we talk to somebody, we know they're a person. It's not their fault if there's been a schedule change or there's been a strike or there's been refunds or, something happened. They're just a person like we are on the other end of the phone. And we often are sending flowers or thank yous, and we have postcards ready to go that are signed by all of our advisors in the office to say thank you for your help. So, if a supplier goes even, not even necessarily above and beyond anymore, if a supplier does us a solid, we definitely are happy to be sending them cupcakes or sending them, something to make them acknowledge that they matter and they are a big piece of our business. BDMs included. And as I say, fellow travel entrepreneurs, like in this past year, personally, I used to just keep my head down. I didn't know any of you. I did my own business. I didn't understand the value of sharing, what you were doing, sharing what we were doing, playing such a big part. But just seeing what unfolded yesterday, and this makes me emotional, just the number of agents that I met on Zoom calls, on calls to the MCPs, on ACTA calls. It's been so encouraging and so amazing to meet so many people that I've never ever met in person, and to know that we all had each other's backs. So, we can be raving fans of each other. It isn't taking away from our business, it is adding to our business. So the more we can share with each other what works for us, might not work for everybody, but what works for you might be something I've never heard of, or I didn't realize, or, if again, being in a small agency and being closed for the last 13 months, there's a lot of things that are happening that we need to share with each other, or, we just want each other to succeed. That's the truth of the matter. And we've always heard relationships matter. Relationships between ourselves matter. And this is the Henry Ford quote, whether you think you can or you think you can't, you're right. It's all mindset. I've owned this business for 33 years. I knew I should get into luxury and groups, but I just dragged my feet because I didn't want to give away business, or I was too busy. I was too busy to think about my business. I was working in it instead of on it. And I think now, if ever, we've got the time to say, we're going to reposition what we do. We're going to take a good look at the clients that are bringing in income to our office, as opposed to eating our soul, or not feeding our enjoyment. It definitely is mindset, and I think it's a good time to consider how we move forward. So again, it's just believing in yourself. I believe in you. I know that there is abundance for each of us. And I feel like the more we can share in, our groups, Kate and Denise have put together the Newfoundland group. I mean, it's going to be so easy to sell that out, because we are doing it together. And, if we don't have to organize a Zoom call with, the supplier for every one of our offices, if we can do it together, we can be better together for sure. So that's the end of my presentation, and I'm totally open to any questions. And I hope my internet was okay. Thank you.
Thank you, Marian. That was amazing. I'm sure everybody's clapping for you right now. That was great. Thank you so much for sharing your insights. and your experience, because really you're speaking from experience, how you've taken your office to the next level. And I've got a couple questions. Maybe we can open it up to just chatting about what you've added today. But I know for me, I'm curious if you could just give a tip or two. How do we begin the process of transitioning from being everything to everyone, which a lot of us are? We're selling everything. We don't want to disappoint anyone. How do we what are the first few things you would suggest for someone that wants to transition and really start to focus on luxury?
Yeah, excellent. And truly, I think what you want to do is just, first of all, and I'm a big woo-woo person, but just get quiet. You've got time to go home or probably even in your office. Just be quiet and kind of listen to your soul on what you love doing, what in this business, and you've all been in it for decades. What lights you up? What do you love doing? If a client calls and they want, a trip to Thailand, or they're going to make 3 or 4 stops in Europe, or they, are all about romance, or like, just first of all, understand what you enjoy in this business, because that is what you should be focusing on. That is what is going to make you money. So start there with what you want to specialize in. I mean, river cruising is a given, right? Why be making $50 or $100 issuing an airline ticket when you could be getting commissions that have commas in them for just as much work? So I guess what you have experience in, what you have background in, and what you love doing is where you should focus. So that's the start. Focus there. Market that. Market only that. Send out your newsletter with, really beautiful pictures and, information about the African safari that, lights you up. Or start with what you love and give away the rest. Because if you are only selling Tahiti, and you could do that, I mean, it's a process, but just take one destination, one group of people. Maybe it's wine cruises. Personally, I've just been sending out letters to our local restaurants and wineries here, just reaching out to them and saying, I know it's been a tough year. I know you're, don't assume things, but suggest, that it's a year that we've lost touch with our customers. And what about, getting together on a group wine tour or a group beer tasting river cruise? Because there are, all these themed river cruises, and just reaching out to them, first of all, with a letter, and then just following up with a call and saying, are you interested? I think there's a way that, if you've got a group of people, you've got enough people in your community, that you could travel for free, or that, we could raise some money for a charity, those sorts of things, to just get groups of people together that are already affiliated. So it's not a cold group that you're trying to fill. It's reaching out to companies that already have a good following and making it a win-win for them. So that's where I would start, is start on what you love doing, and don't sell wine cruises if you don't like wine, or don't sell, an African safari if you've never been. Think of something that you've sold in the past, you've got a good relationship with the supplier, and go from there and market the shit out of it.
Okay, that's great. I love that. Anyone have any questions? Do you want to just put your hand up and unmute? Peggy? You'll have to unmute, sorry. I can unmute you if you want.
Now I'm okay. Great. Marian, thank you. You are so inspiring. You really are. Just love you. you know, as you and I have talked, because we've been roommates on the conference, and you know, luxury has been in my vision for a while, and I'm, you know, developing that. But where I struggle is, you know, I think your idea of administrator is a good one. And, you know, I was thinking initially of having one of my junior consultants become an administrator, but I'm sort of rethinking this, thinking maybe I should try to get an administrator outside by advertising, maybe through Indeed, what have you. Do you have any thoughts on that?
Well, my administrator, unfortunately, has got another incredible job over the shutdown. So she is not coming back to me as much as she's still going to do my invoices. So I've had to advertise, and I put an ad in Indeed. I think it started April 4th till maybe April the 11th. I just paid $5 a day for it, and I have now 4 amazing options of people who, you know, I had listed they had to have their TIFO license. And my administrator doesn't sell, but I need them to be licensed. And I needed them to know client-based trams saver. So I've got 4 that I've talked to each one of them. They're willing to hold on until I can hire. So, I mean, I'd recommend Indeed. And I'd absolutely recommend when you put the ad out, you can qualify how much experience they have to have, if they have to have a TIFO license, if you want them to be versed in any particular technical things. But I'm scared to get a new administrator. My girl knows everything about everything. And again, it's breaking my heart that I'm not going to get her back, but we'll start fresh like everybody's going to do. And I think Indeed, for me anyways, gave me good options that are
Now,
local.
Did you put in a salary range? Because, you know, I've done Indeed for hiring travel professionals, but.
I did. I pay $18 an hour and they were, I mean, I think right now you're probably going to be able to get people without putting it in. I've also put in an ad for travel professionals because a few of my girls are also not coming back full time. And I just put commission base in that box, but we pay a salary and commission, but I guess it's up to you whether you decide what to put in or not.
And I just have one other question, and then I'll let somebody else take the floor. It's the professional fees. Now, you know, we have them on our desk. We have them, but like you were saying about in the website, on the Facebook. So you're carrying that through to all of your media, so that when people are visiting your location, they're seeing professional fees. Is that correct? Is that sort of what's happening?
Not necessarily. We don't necessarily have it in all of our marketing. I think now we've had, you know, a few things that say, you know, this is the cost plus professional fees, but that's fairly new. We didn't have it in our marketing previously. It's just, again, people understand, like after you've done it for a while, they understand there's a professional fee. So it's not even a conversation that takes much time. And my girls are well versed in, because they are specialized in saying, these are the things that we do for you. These are the, you know, whether it's a restaurant recommendations or, you know, the drip campaigns, those sorts of things. A lot of our clients are either referrals or have been loyal customers. So to them, it's just a given.
Okay, great. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Marion, did you say that your agents charge different fees, correct?
Because
so
they all provide a different service. Sorry.
Right. So you don't necessarily have a template of professional fees so you've left that to your agents. Do you have a guideline or a minimum, or how do you work that out?
So at this point, I just know I have a pretty good idea of what they are charging. The River Cruise Girl is $150 per person. The other thing I just want to make a really strong point about is on our invoicing, we have, if you're canceling a reservation, whether it's refundable or not, because a lot of the cruises and river cruises, and I mean, just the flexibility now, we have a statement on there stating the cancellation fee is, $250 per person or whatever it is. So that we're fine. If people book a cruise with us, they pay up front our professional fee and then they cancel. We've made as much money as, if they actually traveled in many cases. The one thing about having that is having it written correctly on your invoice in regards to cancellation fees and covering it with your insurance policy from the get-go, because you can run into an issue with the insurance claim if it's not part of the premium, and if it's not collected up front. So just having the verbiage on there. But yeah, because each of my girls do something different. So your question was, do we have a grid? Basically, because we do sell ITCs as well. So basically those are $50 per person over and above on an ITC, and we don't sell anything under 1,000, and it will probably now be $1,500 per person. We're not interested in somebody coming in and saying, I've got $1,000 and I want a last minute sell off. That's not what we service.
Okay, so tell us, because I'm sure we're all wondering, like, what do you say to these people? So you've had clients for years, because a lot of us, again, we're selling everything to everyone. And a client, so I'm thinking right now to transition. I'm going to have my typical clients coming in, so will my agents. What do we say to them? Oh, sorry, you're only spending 1,000, not 1,200, so you have to go to CA. So how do you, what do you say to those clients?
Yeah, so this is the perfect opportunity. It is absolutely perfect, and I think you're going to see even the people who have $1,000 to spend are willing to pay your fees. So right off the bat, you'll say, as we've, been closed for the last year's time. Our agency has morphed into a more luxury market, or it has morphed into selling only river cruises or only being able to serve clients with, a budget of a minimum of, $2,000 per person or whatever you want to set it at. And some will grumble and say, well, we've always booked with you, and and you'll have to just say, you're right, and we appreciate your business, we appreciate your loyalty. Unfortunately, this is the business model that we have decided to move ahead with. If you wish to book on our website, and this is where we send all of those people, if you wish to book on our website, you're more than welcome to. You won't have access to, the counseling of our agents, but you are more than welcome to book on our website. We will contact you in regards to insurance, but everything else is, off the computer. We're not printing out your tickets. We're not, doing any of the special things that we do. So that would be my direction on starting out, because people can book on your website. I mean, we all have beautiful websites really that are pretty savvy. So we do have people that, want to spend that amount of money. And that's what the website's for. If they want counseling, they're going to pay for it. And I think you'll be surprised that people want counseling now.
Yeah, I agree. Anyone else questions? Because I've got a million, so
Me too.
I don't want to keep going. I want to give other people a chance. No?
Yeah. Congrats, Marion, on that decision. It takes guts, really. In the same sense of what Denise just said, we've been closed for about a year, and still of us are closed. How did you put this in practice, and what's the success as up to now? Like, have you had a long time to put that in success, like saying no to those that you don't want and saying yes and imposing those fees to the other one?
Yeah, it was really getting my staff to buy into this whole decision. So it was a fortunate decision for me to move to a new space and, to cut the cord right then and say, if you're not willing to specialize and to up level, then, stay back. So everybody came over and they were grumbling. They were, kicking and screaming. No, we're not going to, give away clients because they were being paid a salary and a commission. But I gave them the opportunity to lose sales, and our business did decline. Our income has never declined, honestly, in 33 years up until 2020. We have built our income for 30 years and growing. But I gave them the opportunity to specialize, to take training. I paid for their training, to go to courses, and to decide. And it was one of my girls, and it's the Destination Wedding Girl. She went on one of the TDC Destination Wedding Fans, and that was about a year into our move. And she was the first one to follow me and say, I'm only going to work destination weddings now. And she gave up all her other business. So by that time, my other agents had specialized in what they had, their cruising and their adventure and luxury. So if somebody came in and wanted to do a safari with her, she would give it to the adventure person. If someone
So
came in,
I thought you went through this change while we were in the pandemic, or still is. So you went that before, like a year or so before, or
7 years ago.
7 years ago.
Yeah.
Oh, gee whiz. I got my information wrong. Sorry.
No, it's fine. It took about 2 years of a bit of a decline, and really we had more river cruise and cruising than anything else. So my girl who was doing adventure, who's young and adventurous and has been everywhere, was saying, well, I'm giving up all my high-end river cruise and I'm not getting anything in return. So she was a bit pissy for a bit of time, but it's come full circle. She wouldn't touch a cruise now. Like it's so empowering to delete all the Sunwing emails, to delete all the cruise emails. Like if you only have to know what you have to know. So she built up her own website, and I mean, so again, it was a transition. It took time for everybody, especially to give up their own loyal clients, because that's a big thing. We think we own our own people, right? But if you can build up a team of people that are willing to share, then it works. So I guess my suggestion is you probably have to pay them well enough to say, it's okay. You're going to, we're going to decide to give up whatever you decide to give up, and not even sell within the agency, but to also pass along, this referral or this inquiry that doesn't suit your niche, to give it up to an associate in the hopes that it comes back. And it does, but again, this is 7 years later. So.
Wow. Okay, I have a question in the chat box here for you. And it is, when you say no to air only for clients, how do you know that that doesn't have an opportunity to sell luxury to them in the future, or take advantage of the possibility that she might be able to book a river cruise, etc., that they may have?
So how many people have come to you and said, oh, I booked Viking online and I just need the flights, right? Like, yeah. So if they know you only sell river cruises, they're not going to come to you for just the flights. But I completely appreciate the question, because we've had it. I mean, I think I said in one of my other talks, we used to sell Las Vegas and we would make $9.99, and we'd counsel that client for a month before we got him the deal of $99 each way. He'd come in every, these clients, we used to bend over backwards. We'd call them when it was on sale, and then they wouldn't get in time, and they'd lose out. Like, there are a lot of people that we've lost money on because we thought they would come back and book the round the world cruise. Never, ever, ever has that happened. And I can tell you, our high-end clients now, they're booking the Amalfi Coast tour, or the Tuscany private villa, and they're booking their own air, and we are completely fine with it. A lot of our groups book their own air. We just do the land components. So if you treat them how to work with you, that's what they're going to do. And I know we all work from fear. We don't want to give it up in case. it's a step that I recommend you take, but I mean, you've got to feel it yourself.
Yeah, that's great. That's a great answer. I think we were all kind of feeling that fear when we first started with professional fees, and look at us now, right? So, Patricia, did you have a question?
Me?
Yes.
I did. It got kind of answered with
Okay.
another question, but maybe I'll jump in with another thought I had. Thank you so much, Marianne. It's inspiring, and it was always also in the back of the mind, especially when you have that profile of clientele. Two questions. My first one: when you your agents charge professional fees, do you give them an incentive, or it's just a natural thing right now, and to charge? I know right now I don't have staff, but I used to give like a little bonus to start motivating the staff to charge professional fees, because it's a new process for us, charging fees, recent, I'm going to say. So that was number one question. And the other one was more about the marketing. How do you market towards your client? Do you use social media? Is it Facebook? Is it emails? Is it calls? And how much budget do you put into that for it to be worth it? There's always that dollar sign that scares us. Oh, well, me, because I end up paying. Yeah, so those two questions.
So I'll start out with the incentive piece, and my girls work a salary and a commission, but right now they are all laid off. So they're either employed somewhere else doing another job plus looking after the clients, or they're on EI right now. Each of those girls, and I mean, this also makes me very emotional. They are not worried about being paid by me right now. They are charging the professional fees, and it's going completely into our agency, and there's no discussion of how much am I getting out of it. They are not at all. And I mean, you don't get people like this. My girls are unbelievable, and it has broken my heart that they haven't been employed for the last year, and that some of them aren't coming back to us. But they're not asking for any money from me. If they are, it's pretty minimal. They really just want to see our business come back. But having said that, moving forward and prior to COVID, yeah, they would get a percentage of what their commission was. I always paid it at the time of the invoicing, which again, so when there was commission recalls this last year, none of that came out of their pockets. If they're refunding, I don't even want to get into this, insurance refunds, but nothing is going to come out of their pockets. But really their priority right now was just getting us back to business. And even the ones who are employed full time are saying, I'm going to come back to you, but I'm not going to give up my full-time employment. I'm going to work for you, in between and when I'm done work or on weekends. And I'll wait until, it's profitable enough for you to bring me back. So I've got the most amazing staff under the sun. They've all been with me, 25 to 15 years. So losing them, or the thought of losing them, is the most difficult part of this pandemic for me. But my suggestion, Patricia, will be, yes, to incentivize them. They'll get a percentage of the professional fee, because I think that's the best way to get them moving forward. In regards to marketing, I'm the one who does the marketing, and I'm shitty at it. So I think I maybe overspoke about, what we do for marketing. We're not really visible on Facebook. Like, I'll do a Facebook post maybe once every other week. I'm not doing it daily. And it's because when we do it, we get 100 likes, or we get, 40 comments. So we're not in their face saying, look at this pretty picture, look at this pretty picture. It's, to me, I just don't have the energy to post things that don't light me up. So what we do post on Facebook, which is completely free, is just more personal. What's going on with the girls here, or, we'll certainly post if there's a special group going. We never, ever, ever post something about a sale. Never, ever. So if it's a promotion or something like that. Now, I do feel like I should be putting out information right now, like the flexibility with ITC packages and things. But again, I'm kind of holding back because I only want people to think of us for the high end stuff. So I do radio ads, and the radio ads are on, they haven't been this last year, but they are on all the time. And I use my marketing budget from TDC for all of my radio. I rarely, again, we're in a small town, so we have these little local newspapers that just want me to write an editorial or, you know, something about a FAM or a blog that we've written. We just reuse it. So a lot of our marketing is free. Each of my girls have their own Facebook pages, have their own websites, have their own marketing, but for the most part, everything they do is free. Instagram, but it's pretty. So
you estimate all the gifts that you'd give, you know, all the thank you cards. I mean, this is also a bit of money here and there that's being sent, the shipping and etc. This is estimated. This is also marketing. So
yeah, you're right. So to tell you how much we spend on marketing, I would say I think our marketing budget generally is $25,000 a year. Often that includes some FAMs and some other things. Okay. So I don't know that I could really accurately tell you that amount, but again, that comes out of the agency funds, and I've never denied the girls whatever they want to send by courier. You know, it's always a client that is worth it. So the destination wedding people, there's 2 girls in the destination wedding department, and they do a lot of bridal shows. Well, a lot. They do 4 definitely a year. This last year, they did a virtual one in September, which was so beautiful. And they had like fabulous gifts that they gave away. And that was all completely free. Didn't cost us a penny. Everything was donated as far as the prices. So there's a lot of things you can do virtually now that are free.
very good. Thank you. Thank you so much, Marianne.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Awesome. Elaine has a question.
I do. Hi, Marianne.
Hey,
Hi. Oh my gosh, your expertise. Thank you so much for sharing it. I think I could listen to you all day here, you know, all the wonderful stuff that you're sharing. So thank you for that. Just picking up a little bit on what you were talking about websites. You said that each of your girls has their own website. I find the TDC, you know, the websites that we're mandated to follow and very cumbersome, awkward, you know, with the tiles and everything. How do you integrate them, or do they rely on one more than the other? You know, or if anybody else can share how you would have your own website to be mainly able to promote a niche market.
Are you allowed to have an own website? I'm just throwing in that question. Okay.
No, you're not allowed. So we don't market it off of the Transat website.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we do a lot of our own thing. And, you know, if no one stopped us at this point. Yeah. Again, I'm probably not the best one to talk about building a website or promoting it, again, because we're not allowed to anyways. My destination wedding girl, she will not advertise anything or promote anything on the Transat website because it makes her furious that we don't have the freedom to market who we are. And that's what I've been pleading with TDC from the time that we've been members with them, is to allow us to be ourselves, is to stand out in the crowd, not just be like everybody. Our website looks the same no matter which one you look at.
Very cookie cutter.
Yeah. So I'm hoping with their luxury program that they're about to announce, or that they're working on, that they can allow us to sell ourselves, because that is what we're selling. We're not selling that we're part of Marlin, we're part of TDC, or we're part of, I'm personally Travel Plus. Clients could care less if I'm a Travel Plus or not. I am selling my girls. You know, it's their expertise, it's their knowledge, it's the experience they're going to give you, which has nothing to do with being, you know, a TDC member. We love the website. to be able to, as per Denise's question, is to be able to pass the people who are not interested in paying our fees to just go ahead and book and not have expectations of our time.
Okay, thank you.
But you're right, someone else could probably speak to that better.
I guess if you were an affiliate, you could have your own website, right? It's
Yes.
the banner that okay.
Okay.
So Marion, you're not in all these refunds of ACV right now and Transat coming up then?
Well, ACB, not so much. I did all of mine and one of my girls who's laid off yesterday, and I think there were maybe 8 of them, and my other, my destination wedding girl is involved in it, and it's a mess for her. It's a total friggin' mess. All these future travel credits because of, again, the attrition and, you know, the clients that had non-refundable fees that she kept in attrition, and now they're getting their money back, so she's not getting what she was supposed to get. It's just, it's a mess for the groups department, but yeah, in regards to the ICTC department, it's not a big deal.
Okay, any other questions for Marion?
Well, I'm all in the cappuccino every morning too.
Yeah.
We have a beautiful office with big brown chairs. People don't want to leave when they come. And it's important with the scents in the office, like the scent, as well as the whatever you're offering them and the colors and everything else. So congrats. It's that's the level we need to bring in clients into, because they're not just buying a luggage, they're buying like a $5,000, $10,000, package. So it's incredible. And you can't do that just in 15 minutes. You should take time and feel them, like you said, make them feel great, important, and so on. So congrats, Marion.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think we're all, like Marion, you're ahead of us because you started this process 7 years ago. But I think the timing for all of us is perfect, as you've indicated. It just seems rather daunting because we have so many other things that we have to deal with. But I think that I just want to say that we shouldn't forget what we do. I mean, we're doing a lot of these special groups that we put together collectively. How brilliant that is. So I think we all have to celebrate our successes, because I don't know about you guys, but sometimes I feel like I'm overwhelmed. But hey, you know what? We're getting some things right, and doing what we're doing today is an inspiration. So again, thank you. But I think we all need to understand that we're doing some good things. Like, we're changing. This is a time of change for all of us. And how we're going to embrace that change is up to us. And we have to take responsibility for it. We can't blame, like you said, the blame stops right here. We have to be responsible. So thank you for that, for reinforcing my thoughts, because like I said, there's just so much in front of us at the moment.
And
Yeah,
look at
that's
you,
awesome.
Look at you, Peggy, like you just opened your brand new office, a
Yes.
year and a half ago. You've already made it beautiful. You're already a new presence in your community.
Yeah.
So to be able to shout that from the rooftops, like, I am Peggy McKnight, I am the specialist in WindStar Cruises,
Yeah.
it's, if you just get everybody to book WindStar, right?
That's right.
Or river cruises, or the groups that you're escorting,
Yeah.
that's enough business. And give up the shitty little stuff that drags you down. Work 3 days a week, and it doesn't have to be hard. It doesn't. And
Right.
I mean, again, I say a lot of this tongue in cheek because it's been a shitty year and it has felt hard at times, but at the same time, I've had so much freedom and just time to be home before dark that it's, good things are coming for each one of us.
Absolutely. And I think it's so inspiring, and because, like, even yesterday and today, for most of us, we feel exhausted. I know yesterday I just wanted to cry when I came home. Like, I was just completely mentally exhausted.
What you guys do yesterday?
What? With the Air Canada refunds.
Oh, I know about that. I thought you were on a big Zoom call or something.
Oh,
Okay.
no, just
Okay.
the refunds. But you know, like Peggy, you inspire me to think positive. Like, for example, our clients are so happy that they're getting money back. They're just elated. And it just brings that joy back into what we're doing, even though we have so much work to do. And I think sometimes we forget. So I think with the luxury, sometimes I feel like, oh, it's such an overwhelming thing to think. It's just too much. But I think today I've gotten a lot of tips to maybe just take it one step at a time, Denise, and not have to go full on like Marion, you know, 7 years, you're where you are now, but we need to, you know, start to, like, for example, I'm going to only work by appointment now. Like, just, I'm going to do one little thing at a time and kind of work my way instead of feeling that overwhelming, you know, list of a million things you need to do to become that luxury agent that you really want to be. So
That's right.
yeah, I can't, it's been a valuable, really great call with, you know, some great tips that I've gotten today. So I thank you very much. And I think everyone's gotten, I'm sure, gotten some great insights that they can, you know, look to evolve and change, even just in little ways. Does anyone else have anything they want to add or chat about that, you know, that's going on right now? We can talk about anything. Hi, Kate.
Hi, Marion. So good to see you, and just a fabulous job. And as Peggy had said earlier, you kind of reiterated some of the things that we know, but for you to put it back on the table and to put it back forefront in our minds as to what to do. I'm on appointment only, and I have been for quite a few years. I see people on appointment only. I don't take walk-ins, which is great. But Marion, here's my problem. Okay, because you've got the S.O.A.R, Peggy's got the WinStar, you know, you've got your high-end sandals and that kind of stuff. I guess my thing is, how have you, with that transition 7 years ago, not now, because now you're already rolling, the snowball is gone. 7 years ago, what was your marketing? How did you market to these people to know I want to be an exotic? I already am, so I've been doing that. But how, short of me doing radio ads, newspaper ads, Facebook, all that kind of stuff, to get, let's say, S.O.A.R, I want to push that. I love them, right?
Yeah.
Did you get into a large amount of advertising dollars, like in a percentage, 4%, 5%? 20% of your sales? No.
Again, like, I really just want to make sure everybody hears the fact it's mindset, right? Like, it's, and like Denise said, it's one little step at a time. You know, you're not going to have each of your agents decide what to specialize in and give things away as soon as they come back. It's just baby steps. And as far as advertising, just in your mind, think, you know, who is this attracting? Who is this speaking to? What's it saying about our agency? And just, you know, start. What did you say? Your expeditions? Is that what you're?
Oh, my exotic. I do lots of. People know that I'm exotic, but I want to kind of go into things like the S.O.A.R Cruise Club. You know.
So only market that. And reach out to your rep and maybe do a couple of Zoom calls and, you know, market that you're doing those Zoom calls, or if you're, you know, gonna maybe block a group and put that out. So I would say just start small. It doesn't mean you have to change up all your marketing, but think about what you're putting out and who it's attracting and what it's saying to them. You know, hopefully it's not cheap and it's not last minute, and you'll get rid of the cheap and last minutes.
Okay, another quick question as to what you do and everybody else out there, and really quick, because I know that we're getting done here. Community efforts. How big are you on community efforts? I am constantly being, you know, they're coming to me for money, or the radio station wants to thank the Lions for their 90th year and all that kind of stuff. You guys, and I'm not talking just Marion, I'm asking everybody out there. That just seems that every time you turn around, Are you, Marion, really community conscious in the sense of Elgin Travel being out there with everything?
I wouldn't say everything, but we're lucky, again, a small town, so our chamber knows us. Like our chamber, as I say, just this last month allowed us not to pay our fees this last year because of what we're going through. And then also said, anything you want to put out in our green letter that or green mail or whatever goes out once a month, like let us know. So we have, because we're small town, we know everybody. So we have a good reputation. We never would turn down anybody for sponsoring a sports team or sponsoring a 4-H club or sponsoring, a certain society. We can always give, $50 or $100 for whatever program. So I never say no. But again, small town and 33 years, it just, I'm not involved in a lot of things, but people know that Elgin Travel is good for it.
Right. Thank you, Marion. That was awesome.
You're welcome. Thanks for watching.
So Marion, one more question I have for you. And I don't know if this would apply to anyone out there thinking of doing this, but how would you deal with, let's say I really want to evolve into more of a luxury agent and my staff don't, they're not interested. They want to just keep, do you think it's okay for me to then just be known as I'm the luxury agent, I'm the appointment only, my fees are higher? Is that okay? Or do you think the agency should be the same across the board?
I think it's totally okay. And it's probably the way it has to go for them to see your success and say, oh, because that's what happened in our office is, I did it to begin with and I encouraged the girls to do it. But it wasn't until another girl said, oh, I see what she's doing and that's working for her. And she did it. And then that led somebody else. So you just have to start, laying down the breadcrumbs and having them follow. Don't expect everybody to be all on board, especially coming back. They're exhausted too. They don't want to be told 100 different things of what's new. It's let them do what they've been doing. Hopefully they understand the fee structure. But once they see you excelling at it, they're going to want a piece of that.
Okay. Yeah, that's great advice. That's what I've been thinking, because it's very difficult for some of my agents to charge the fees that I want to charge, because I feel my expertise and my, experience warrant those fees. And so I've kept my fees lower because I just always felt they should be the same across the board. But I think it's time that, why shouldn't I charge more if I feel, I don't know. Okay, I'm glad that so that's kind of how you started then. You just did it yourself and then kind of laid the groundwork for everyone else.
Because we've all heard, charge an upfront booking fee or a plan to go fee. We've been talking about that for years. And when I started doing it and they saw I was getting $250 just to do up an itinerary and the clients weren't even booking with me, it's like, oh, I guess I could do that. Yeah.
She can do it. Why can't I, right?
Yeah.
Excellent. Okay. Anyone else have anything they'd like to add? No? Okay. So I just want to remind everyone, since we have quite a few on the call, we are, and you've probably seen on the Facebook page, but we have put together some group departures for our TDC owners group to be able to sell into. So just make sure you're familiar with those. Or if you want more information, reach out to me or, by email or on Facebook page, myself or Ellen. You could start with the two of us. And then, we can let you know, but we've got some great tours and we really want those to sell well. So if everyone can at least market those or send them out to your best clients, and that would be appreciated. So we can have a real good go at these and continue to offer those. All right, guys. So Marion, thank you so very, very much again. I think everyone really enjoyed hearing from you. Thank you. Round of applause.
Thanks,
Appreciate it. And hopefully everybody continues with their refunds. And I'm sure Transat is coming next. So we need to get on top of the Air Canada refunds and get those out of the way before Transat hits.
Yeah.
I think that'll be next, but anyways, have a great day, everyone, and stay connected on the Facebook page and take care.
Yep.
Thank
Bye.
you.
Okay, bye guys.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.